This is your place for all things Grand Rapids Griffins and all things Toledo Walleye. This is the Hockeytown West podcast with your hosts, Brandon Cook, Nick Harrington, and Travis Foch.
Oh, Brandon is out sick again. It only takes me like 2 days to get over a cold. It's now reaching 3 weeks. I'm not even sure if he's alive. The only time I've seen him on the show, it could have been AI for all I know, right? I haven't seen him in person since last year. So we upgraded our depth chart tonight. We brought Elaine Shircliff. She's jumping in. I can't say good friend of the show because you're a great friend of the show. I've been on multiple times in the past. You've been with us up in press row. You really was how we got up into press row. So, and I think this is a first though. First time a Patreon member has been on the show. So if you don't follow her, because you were on before you're on Patreon, you've been on the show. We've done many shows together. So if you don't follow her now, go follow Grace by Rain. And she was at the Griffins game for both of the games. Elaine, for anyone new to Hockeytown West or new to you, give them a quick rundown of who you are and what you do and how you've been or anything you've been working on.
That's a lot. My name's Elaine. You can follow me, first of all, on Twitter, X, at I'm a Rain Dancer. I was trying to do both Grace by Rain and I'm a Rain Dancer. It was too much. So just I'm a Rain Dancer and all the other I'm a Rain Dancer on TikTok and Grace by Rain on Instagram. I cover the Griffins. I used to cover a lot of teams, and now it is just the Grand Rapids Griffins, which is kind of a weird vibe, but I guess I took all like the good stuff from all the teams, combined it into one, and now this team's on a heater.
Well, we were on a heater.
Oh my God, it's one loss. Relax.
Chill out. We are not hitting the panic button when there's only 2 regulation losses and 4 losses total.
It's a lot of losses this year already. Travis, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Another day. Nick is kicking me. I decided last minute to throw chaos into tomorrow, so that'll be an exciting night. But after tonight, recording at 10 o'clock, it's going to be a long day tomorrow.
It's going to be a very long night tonight for us. It's I didn't think I was going to be recording with you and Brandon because I wasn't able to attend or watch any of the games until today. I was able to watch the last game. And so I thought my job was going to be pretty easy this week. And instead, I am now hosting the show. And I brought Elaine on to help cover some gaps and to provide some analysis as well. And then Travis and I will be going to the Sergei Fedorov retirement game tomorrow. Super stoked, bought tickets last minute. And I don't know, Travis, will this go out tomorrow before the game or no?
I mean, if you get it edited, yeah.
I'll be edited before I leave for Detroit tomorrow, for sure. So
then it should be up.
So it should be up. But yeah, it'll be a fun time, and excited to see anybody that's there and meet up and to be able to be part of history, right? It's the first retirement number in the LCA, and it won't be the last one. There'll be a few more going up there shortly, but that's Red Wings, and we're going to move on to the Griffins. So we've got a historic 60-point start. BECHERS 2-goal night. A point streak has snapped that I mentioned earlier. A shutout loss. Mr. Cross Hanas makes his way back to Grand Rapids and makes a statement. We've got a Nate reassignment, special teams trending, and if we get time to it, we'll have an apology to Mr. William Vollander from Miss Elaine Grace. Welcome to Hockeytown West, your home for Griffins, Toledo Walleye Hockey. If you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe, drop a like, and comment your biggest takeaway from this weekend. Or if you're going to be at the games this coming weekend for the Wing Wheel Podcast Night that they are sponsoring on Saturday. So it'll be cool if you guys are there. I'm hoping Brandon will be back in time as well. I will be at that game. I had to make some adjustments, but I'm excited to see and meet. And we'll have stickers too. So if you're there, grab a sticker from one of us. But we'll start. And Elaine. Oh, Elaine's going to be there too. So yeah, you got stickers?
Stickers.
We'll hand out some stickers. Get some freebies.
I'm going to try.
Travis is gonna try as long as it doesn't snow, which mid-January, who knows? I mean, we had rain the other day. We'll go to news, recalls, and send downs because there was a lot that happened this week. So Nate Danielson reassigned to the Griffins on Tuesday. He played 28 games up in Detroit. He had 2 goals, 5 assists. He was a -7 with 4 penalty minutes. Travis, I want to get your thoughts on the drop from Detroit since you are our Detroit guy. not only Toledo, but Detroit as well.
Almost would have rather preferred to see Marco come down myself with how.
You know what's funny is I wrote Marco Kasper stats right underneath. So he had 45 games, 3 goals, 3 assists with a -16.
I mean, neither one's been good up there. I mean, but it's tough. I mean, I wouldn't say Nate was horrible. It wasn't great, but neither's been Marco. So overall, I think it's just a thing to come down and maybe keep him at a more natural position, which is playing center. They kind of like would move him and Casper around when they were playing together based off what side the faceoff was on at times. And then also just to play more minutes. Like if he's going to be in Detroit, it's got to be playing more minutes than what he was playing. So just like earlier with MBN, it's not the end of the world, right? Young guy. He's got his whole career still ahead of him. It's nothing bad. It's just come back and fine tune things. One thing that they said they wanted him to work on is just like that attention to offense, more aggressiveness when it comes to playing offense. So we'll see as it goes how he improves in that area.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because like when he got called up, I did say on the show, and I got a lot of heat for it as well, is that he just doesn't really stand out, right? Like you don't notice him when he's out on the ice. He's not making those big plays. He's not making those. He doesn't seem like he's been a step above the rest of the competition. And I'm like, you're gonna get what you already have up there, and that's exactly what he did when he went up there. Just he was very quiet. I felt. Elaine, do you have anything that you want to add on Nate Danielson? I know you talked with him this week.
Yeah, you and I talked when he went up, and we both agreed. Like we were a little concerned about him getting the call up. From my perspective, it was because of his strength. I didn't think he necessarily had the strength to muscle guys around. Being back, first of all, Austin Watson seems very excited to have him back. He is very excited. So I think when it's a good thing that maybe he was sent down instead of Marco Kasper, because when the guys can automatically be that jazzed, I don't know if it would be the same, but because they were playing together earlier, he was like, I missed him. I miss playing with him. Like it was it was cute. I think, him being down here will be really good for him. He's still struggling with the strength issue though. I don't know if he's like afraid to hit people, afraid to kind of muscle them. I'm not quite sure. We know he has that dog in him. Like we've seen it. But his first game down and then even on Friday, but even in practice today, I still saw him like just not going hard into those corners, like onto people and not knocking people off pucks. And he could do it. And even on the face off, like he hasn't been as good on the face off either. Like he's been kind of soft. I don't want to say soft, maybe that's not the right word, but he more
Timid?
gentle. Yeah. Like timid and gentle, was not necessarily like using his body to like, kind of box people out or push them out. So hopefully this kind of toughens him up a bit. He does have the offensive upside, but to be able to excel at that, he needs to be able to kind of run through people.
It's interesting about the Marco thing I want to touch on is because Marco I think there's only a few guys here that played with Marco when he was here though, is like, obviously like Dob Scheid, but he only played because last year he was up with Detroit just about the whole year. I think he only played like 2 or 3 games here with us. So a lot of different guys, maybe more on the defensive side that had played with him prior. So the chemistry would probably not be there automatically like Nate. Nate played the entire year with a lot of the same guys. Marco is having a terrible sophomore slump. I don't even know if you call it that anymore with the way he's going. I wouldn't be
way
surprised.
past that. It's way worse.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like Travis, you had asked earlier if you think he gets a look down here during the Olympics, and maybe, we got Edward Trailmax going up to represent Latvia, and maybe that opens up a spot for Marco to come down here and play wing instead of center, and that could be a possibility. Who knows?
I think
they probably need the bodies.
They might. My only other thing with Nate is like I didn't really love his deployment in Detroit either. Like that's one thing for me I didn't care for. Like one thing that I said is he's a great passer, great vision. You got to get him with some guys that can shoot the puck and really bury it, because he's going to be able to find guys like that. He's going to be able to dish out the puck, move it around, facilitate, and like no disrespect to like Marco and Leonard. That was a line at one point, or Marco and Soderblom, but like those guys haven't proved in the NHL they're big time shooters, big time goal scorers, right? I mean, Marco had a decent end of the year last year, but it's not like he's known for goal scoring, right? And like, I would have loved to seen maybe what they've done now with shaking everything up. If they would have put Nate with like a Raymond and a JVR, like how could that have potentially looked, but ultimately they just want him to keep playing and play more minutes. So I don't think he would have got into the top 6, but when you see them shake it up the way that they did, you're like, well, I would have loved to seen what Nate could have done with like a JVR and a Raymond, but it is what it is. He's here and he'll continue to develop.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
think,
think
I mean, I agree with you, Travis. Like, I would have loved to have seen that too. I think if you're going to kind of do the line shakeups, you do that first and then send someone down. That's my personal opinion. I'm not a coach, but I would think that you would maybe see if everything works before you start sending people down.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with both of you on that. I think they should have shuffled him up to the top 6. That's where he was playing here at Grand Rapids. It worked for John Leonard when they moved him up. See what he has, get him with somebody like Raymond or DeBrincat, right? Or Patrick Kane and see, what he does out there to at least give him a chance, right? Either Shai Booyum, assigned to Grand Rapids, which, I mean, he's been down here. We've known he's been down here, been skating with the team. This news was actually broken by Brandon. He was at practice. I believe it was Tuesday. Kevin comes back from an upper body injury is what they're saying about him. Missed 31 games, got started into this week's games. Elaine, any thoughts on Shai, how he played this weekend? Do you think it was different? The team was a little weird with him, or?
Well, I mean, we can't really judge that because they played 11-7. So that doesn't really help. I mean, it's like Coach Watson said in post game, he did well for someone who was out for multiple months. I mean, he wasn't just out for like 1 month. It's like 2-3 months at this point. And so I think it was actually kind of good that they had to run 11-7 because then he didn't have to be on the ice more if they could pull him off when needed. I didn't see him really do anything like egregious, though. I don't remember seeing anything that was, outwardly bad. But I think he's going to need a little bit more time to get readjusted and get his stamina back up for sure.
Here's my question for Elaine, who was there. Did he seem rusty? Like, was he a little slow? Was there rust, like game rust?
Yeah.
Obviously, you're in shape, but there's going to be game rust.
Yes, there was game rust, but it wasn't anything that was like inherently bad, right? Like he wasn't making turnovers. He was still kind of able to keep up with people. It's not something I would be worried about, but he definitely had rust. That's for sure. And he didn't, I don't think he played a lot of minutes. It didn't seem like he was out there much.
Well, here's my whole thing with all this. You have a guy that hasn't played since September, right? Why on earth would you just throw him out in an AHL game to where now you have to go 11-7 when you could send him to Toledo and play a weekend down here to get your timing back?
Well, they had to play 11-7. They would have played 11-6 unless they brought up Trescott. They were short because Shine was out with an injury.
I mean, you could have done that, but here's the thing too. Like, this guy has not played a hockey game since September. Like,
no,
I feel like just stepping into an AHL roster is a lot. I mean, I get he's a second round pick, but like they've done this before. I'm not saying like a long-term thing. I'm saying like get your timing back. You have 2 guys in Toledo that you could have just brought up and played and had him play there, but it was just a timing thing just to get him like more settled and not be like, look, you got to go out and you're going to play. Like, I just think it long-term, like, could have been a beneficial thing to see him get a conditioning stint, basically. Like, not just here, you're going right in.
No, I agree. But this is the problem. Ooh, okay. So this is where us having access to Sean Horkoff would be great, because then I could ask why and kind of get to know and understand why these moves aren't being made. I guess I was spoiled in Cleveland getting to talk to Chris Clark whenever I wanted to about that, on or off the record. But we're never going to be able to know everything we do. It's going to be us surmising and guessing why or why not they didn't until we have that access. I would love to know, because ideally, like bring up a guy like Trescott up, have him come in and play. He's been playing, and get Shai some playing time down in the ECHL just to make sure he's truly good to go, because that's also going to prevent a different injury from happening. right? Like when you haven't played that long and now you're playing against teams like Texas who are finally gelling and going at it, and they're incredibly aggressive. Milwaukee's aggressive, Chicago's aggressive, Rockford's aggressive. You see them all the time. Putting him in that situation is not always necessarily the best situation. So yeah, I agree with you. I think they should have done it that way. And it's, yeah. I don't know what else to say.
Travis, where was Toledo last weekend? Are they home?
Well, I mean, he would have had some tough matchups here because we had Iowa Friday and then a back-to-back with Fort Wayne this weekend. So
In Fort Wayne or in Toledo?
Saturday was home. Today was on the road. But like, again, I'm not saying that this is the answer. It's just something that, I think of, because when you don't play for 4 months, like that's a long time
It's a
to not
lot.
play. Like it's just a matter of game shape. Like there's in shape and practicing and play, like practicing and being on the ice. Then there's having to play, and like that's a much different pace than at practice. And like,
I don't know. Have you seen these Griffins practice?
These Griffins practices are incredible. It's pretty, I mean, we know what you're saying, Travis. I've just never seen practices like this before. It's great.
It is very intense, but I get it. There's a difference between game speed and practice speed. But the Griffins do emulate a practice speed pretty closely to game speed. But I want to touch on this too, though, Elaine, as you said, you're going to put them into against a team like Texas, Milwaukee, or Rockford. Those are all tough battles. We only have, I think, 42 games left, and 31 of them are against those 4 teams. Like it's everybody in the Central, so it's like deploying them at a certain time against a certain opponent. It's not gonna, unfortunately, not gonna happen because we play so many of the same teams so much the rest of the season. So
Well, right. But starting him, I do like that they started him slower by doing 11. It just worked out that way with the 11-7. But I mean, Travis is right. It's also a different speed down at the ECHL too. I don't actually know the roster makeup right now, Travis. Is there a lot of defenders down there? Like, would he have had to play all 3 games?
no, he wouldn't have had to. They've been
Okay.
rotating guys in and out. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, listen, you probably think of him and you don't think of the ECHL, right? But that was mainly me just thinking like, okay, timing, 4 months, that's a long layoff. But I'm glad that he played in GR and he's back. Like, I think this too, if the Griffins play back-to-backs upcoming, you're not going to see him in back-to-backs. I would kind of be surprised myself when you
Yeah,
miss
it just
4
depends
months.
on
Like,
it depends on what depends on
the
the
roster
roster
looks like.
makeup. Yeah, unfortunately.
And luckily, he doesn't have to. Like, we have so much depth on the blue line. The Stars were actually talking about this on the broadcast. Our NHL guys have 1,000 games of NHL experience on the blue line. All 4 of our NHL defensemen. Hull, Laggy, Mitchell, and Gus are the 4 that make up that 1,100 NHL games. So he's in a good spot to be able to kind of rotate in, rotate out, really learn from the others as well. And it's not bad to sit out when you're, I know he's just itching to get back into the game, right? He's just had 4 months off. He wants to get back to work. And Travis, you were out for 2 weeks and you were itching to get back into your work as well. So with your broken fin.
well, that was like 2 months, not 4 weeks. But
Yeah, I mean that's what I say. Like you were itching to get back as well. So I mean you can't blame him for wanting to do that.
no, absolutely. I'm glad he's back
Yeah.
and I'm glad he's healthy. I just was like, this is interesting.
Yeah.
This is
So I
much
wish
different than
that-
how I would appreciate, or not appreciate, but how I would deploy things. But there's a reason I don't do that. And I talk into a microphone.
No, but I do think there's value in using the ECHL like the NHL uses the AHL, right? Like there should be nothing wrong with sending someone for conditioning. It shouldn't be. I think that the more that I've gotten into the ECHL because of you goons, the more I'm seeing even more value in the ECHL as a partnership with the NHL and the AHL. And those things should be considered.
It should, and that's why we cover both, is because we do rely so much on Toledo and the 4th line, even from Toledo or for GR. Like I call it the Toledo line because it's all those guys are coming up and they're filling a role and they're doing their job, and you see good momentum from it. So, but I've got two other pieces of news that had happened last week. I knew we were going to spend a lot of time on this side. John Leonard, we just touched on, reassigned to Grand Rapids. I thought it was weird that they called him up. I think he had 1, maybe 2 games. He played on the 4th line with the blender going on. Travis, thoughts, Mr. Leonard?
I think they're just going to keep calling different guys up when they get close to needing waivers. It'll be a different guy going up every time. That's
Yeah.
kind of what it's looking until they figure out something, whether that's a trade. I don't know. I'm not saying there's a trade coming. I just think when you have I think they have 21 they might have 20, or is it 20? No, it's 21 of 21 of 23 right now. So like they have roster space, but like, well, Dries, I think, makes it 22. But so like they have flexibility, and they know that if Leonard would need waivers, he's not coming back to GR. Like he's getting claimed. So you might not see Leonard back in Detroit just for waiver availability. You might see Dries up there for, the maximum amount of time, and then he comes back. And then maybe it's Traumax that goes up, and then he comes back. And then it's maybe Watson. You know what I mean? Like it might be a revolving door until, potentially the end of the year, which for the Griffins isn't a bad thing because that could really help out with the rotating veterans and not having to sit, two guys every night?
Yeah.
Yeah, you bring up a good point too. Is like we've seen a lot of roster gymnastics with Steve Yzerman, like conditioning sits where he sits a guy for a long time, gets a conditioning sit so they can bypass the waivers, come down here, play a few games, and then get called up. And then you turn around, you see Sheldon Dries gets recalled, and I'm happy for Dries, Michigan native, gets to call up. I think this is his first call up to Detroit. Is that right?
I think there was that one. I think there was that one last year, like somewhere when they were in Buffalo. I think he was. I think I don't know if it was ever like popped out, but
did he play?
I don't think so. No.
Did he play since he's been recalled?
No. Nope.
Okay.
He sat for the game in Montreal.
So interesting little revolving door around our guys, and it makes sense for what Travis is saying, I think. Elaine, any thoughts on it?
Well, I think this is where you see the greatness of Steve Yzerman, is he knows how to utilize call-ups and how not to have people take your players from you. Because there are some GMs who are a little short-sighted and they wouldn't care, and they'd be like, all right, well, we still need someone for the road trip, so he's still coming with us, and then gets sent down. And yeah, there's like a ton of teams that would snipe him off of there. So this is where you see that he's good at that aspect. There's so many things he's good at, but this also highlights one of the things he's good at.
Last big news here. Mr. Dominic Scheid just signed a 2-year extension with Detroit. It's a 2-way, 2-year. Thoughts on this, guys?
I think I didn't know what happened either. Like, so because I was in Toledo, right? So like I was posting everything, and then I flipped back over to my like personal Twitter. I was like, oh, dang, that's sweet. Especially because he said I think he's even said like I was close to retiring at one point, and now he's got an extra 4 years if you count this year, and now 2 more. Like, listen, I think, he gets the C this year. I think, that's not going to change, right? He's going to be that guy for the Griffins for the next couple of years. And that's awesome for him. He's kind of turned into like the Hawkins of Grand Rapids. Like he's been a lifer in Grand Rapids. He loves it there. And now he's the captain of the team. So it's just like, pretty cool little thing for him. I mean, he's, like I said, he's been there his whole career. So well deserved. And that's a guy too that last year got, his NHL moment. So really cool stuff that he's going to be around for another couple of years.
Elaine?
Yes. I was like in the middle of watching the Bears game last night, and I was like, I get the email. It's 10:30. It's 10:30 at night. I get the email. I'm like, is this real? Like, you don't get stuff like that at 10:30 at night. And it was. I mean, I think it's great. It does show that he's still going to be around. Obviously, it's good for the Griffins too. I mean, 3 of the 4 games they've lost, he wasn't playing in. Like, they do play differently when he's not there. I don't know if it's just because he's not there to kind of hype them up as well or add that extra spark. So this is exciting. And after they honored him for his 500th game, and we talked to him post game, he did mention that Coop helped him relove this game again. And as long as Coop is still loving the game and loving being around, he's still going to, and his family's still loving it, he's going to keep doing it. And so I love that he's had this flip. You could tell, like, I was concerned a few years ago, I was concerned that he was going to retire. And then Coach Watson comes in, they have Coop. I mean, like, he just kind of flipped everything for him. And those are the stories I love to see in any part of sports, is just the reinvigorating of the love that he has for this sport and his team in this city. I don't know, it's beautiful.
He is off to a hot start this year. He really took, I feel like he took the captain responsibility like to heart, right? Really came out, set the tone for the boys, set the tone for this team. Like you said, and you mentioned it to me a couple weeks ago, like this team plays differently with Shine in it. And I've watched it, I've witnessed it. And then you say they've lost 3 of those games that he wasn't in, right? 3 of the games that he wasn't in, 3 out of the 4. He's a big piece of this team. And it's just, I love to see it. I love to see that he's getting the chance. I love to see that he got the 2-year contract from Detroit. I love that he stayed for another 2 years, right? This game, I don't know if Waddy has just brought this out of him, of like this hunger, this drive, this just better player. But him and Waddy together have just been such a good force together. And like you said, Travis, maybe it's just a Hawk and Waddy thing, like, right? When when Waddy was out at Toledo, he had Hawk, who was his guy, and now he's got Shiner, who's his guy, I guess, And I don't know if Waddy will ever admit to that, or say that, but we hope that's true, right? Lastly, we'll go through injuries real quick. So we heard Moyle is out injured. Hillebrand was out on Saturday. You got Mazur's out long term. No update there. And then Amadeus Lombardi is close to returning. Elaine, you were at practice today. Do you have any update on him? Do you want to share anything?
I mean, he was partaking in all the drills. He did the shootout one, so I would assume a week or 2. I don't want to give like a legit timeline because I don't want to be an accidental liar.
So he's day to day.
Yeah, I would say on the air of caution, we don't know.
Right.
Day to day.
Which I want to get into that. They've been saying day to day for like a month at this point. Like, can we get proper week to week at least,
They
please?
can't. They can only do whatever they're told they can say.
They say soon. They're returning soon. They're returning this year.
Okay, if he was day to day a month ago, like that should have been labeled week to week. Let's be real.
Well, I mean, Brandon thought he was day to day. Now he's like month to month.
Right. And Brandon has his own attribute, not about Amadeus Lombardi. But I did hear that they are planning on Mazur returning this year with a potential return. So that is...
Did they say this season or this year? Like, that just feels like a... I don't know.
Now you took him to a place where he wasn't prepared.
Yeah, it's not in the notes, Elaine. All right. Yeah. Last bit of news. We're 45 minutes into news. Edward Trailmax will be representing Team Latvia during the Olympics if they happen, right, Travis?
They'll happen. They'll be there.
You think they'll have the stadium in time?
I don't think it matters. Latvia, they need Trailmax regardless. I think he's going no matter if the NHL goes or doesn't go.
Fair. Elaine, you got to talk with Mr. Trailmix. Anything you want to provide? Did you say you have an article dropping about this?
I do. It's going to be sometime next week because I wasn't at the like a literal sometime next week because I didn't get to go to the media availability they did that Brandon was at, and I was like, oh, I have follow-up questions, so I was like, I'll do those and I'll write off of those questions and my follow-up questions, and then our conversation took like a different path. So now it's going to be about like his time being here on top of the Olympics as well, just what kind of year it's been. So there was a nice little, I did like him talking about what it's been like having a big Latvia. There's like a bunch of people from Latvia who live in Grand Rapids, and he didn't know that until he moved here. He said that's been a very nice change for him to have a little piece of home here. So it's exciting. But yeah, I learned a lot about Olympic sports in Latvia. I guess they're really good at like sledding sports. And I was like, and he just went through the history of that with me. And I'm like, this is great. I didn't know any of this. So interesting.
A man of many surprises. Earlier this year, we learned that blueberry pancakes was his favorite breakfast. And I'm sure you may have learned
blueberry muffins. He thinks about the blueberry muffins.
And maybe you learned a little bit about what his favorite lunch was this time. We'll take a quick ad break. We'll be back. We're going to break down these Wednesday's game and Friday's game. Wednesday and Friday's game. I'm so used to having Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and then a Sunday thrown in there as well. But we'll throw it to a quick ad break. We'll come back. We'll break down those 2 games and then our Vollinder apology and maybe a little bit of Cross Hanas news. Talk to you then. The jaw-dropping moments that make hockey, hockey. Experience them all with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Missouri listeners, listen up. DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in the Show Me state. New customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 4676369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-78-9777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Florida and Ontario, restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved. All right, welcome back. So let's break down this Wednesday game. Elaine, you were there. Travis, you were able to watch this one. Quick score on it was 3-2. Griffins win this one, so we keep the streak for points alive. Cross Hanas starts off the scoring. Of course he does, right? In his own barn. Austin Watson scores, gets the assist from Nate and Antti Tuomisto. This was Austin Watson's 100th AHL goal. ONDREJ Becher scores with Jacob Rakowski with the assist. You have Cole Lynn scoring with Cross Hanas with the assist. And then ONDREJ Becher to win it with Trollmax and AKL with the assist there. Fastest team to 60 points. This was a huge shot advantage of 44-23 Grand Rapids. Elaine, you were there. What was it? It seems like this line was kind of, the lineup was kind of crazy with all these moves, with Nate coming down and people, John Leonard back, shoulder dries going up at the same time. Like, what were your takeaways from this game?
I mean, it wasn't the best game, but I think, ONDREJ Becher was kind of like all over the place in the best way. Not like he was just living his best life on that ice. I loved the way that he was playing, and because of the energy he had and the speed, and he's poke checking guys and taking pucks away from Texas, and then the way his mind was working that night. I mean, behind the net, that first goal he had, he even said it in postgame. He was like, I was gonna go the same way that the goaltender ended up going. He's like, but then I saw the two defensemen and was like, ooh, nope, and went around. And in him saying that, you're like, oh, so he did know, he did see it so fast, and he made that quick decision to just come in and deposit the puck on the open side of the net. We're seeing a lot more growth out of him this season, and I am here for it. I'm loving it. The game was a little intense. I was not expecting it to get as out of hand as it did. And I was not expecting Wallander to straight up get in a fight. He's such a sweet boy. And he was over it. Like, there's already a fight happening. I don't even remember who that fight was. Was it like Sheldon Dries was in it? Or I don't even know. Like,
it was just a big scrum, I think. I think it was mainly just like a chaotic scrum. And then he got off and with a partner and they had a dance.
Yeah. And Kosa was like, Kosa looked like a proud dad, like cleaning up things, making the circle for everyone to watch. He's just watching. I'm like, this is the vibe of the team. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all. I think that it's good, though, that the team is standing up for each other from top to bottom, and it's not the usual suspects all the time. It's just they've been trying to do, like what Gabriel Seeger said in postgame last week, was like trying to let this stuff feed them, not distract them. And I don't know if they necessarily let it fed them these 2 games, because a lot of people's exploded.
Travis?
So this game, I mean, like, I've come to realize the more I've watched these, like the Griffins and who they're playing, like anytime they play Texas, Milwaukee, or Rockford, it's going to be a battle. Even Chicago, like most of the division, right? Anytime you play them, outside of the one exception to where Grand Rapids just took Texas to the woodshed down in Texas. They're tight games. For a game like this, I mean, like you said, Becher just having that like not like breakout moment, but like just having his first like big game, like production wise this year to where it's like he popped, right? And the first goal, I think I even said in our group message, I was like, where in the hell was the goaltender going? Like he got tangled up in the defenseman and he just was like damn near to the corner. So, I mean, like heads up awareness to go back against the grain and have a wide open net. The other one to open himself up for the one timer. That was a great play by him too. Good awareness to be, to have enough awareness to where it's like, okay, well, if I turn and open up my body, I can get a one timer off. And he buried that one. So I thought he played really well. Yeah, the Wallander stuff's great. Everybody loves violence. I think we've seen that over Twitter with an AHL intermission and a bunch of children having a fun scrap.
Love that.
So it was cool to see Wallander get involved. He handled his business pretty well, I thought. Coase, I thought, played pretty well in this game for the most part. The one goal, it's like no shot, really. Like the cross ice play, that was a good play. Yeah. And again, like Hanas, like it's turning into this thing, I feel like, with the Griffins. When somebody comes back, they're torturizing the team. And like it happened in Toledo. It happens in Toledo every time. It happened this weekend on the Fort Wayne game at home. But yeah, I mean, I kind of had a smile when Cross got a goal in both games actually, right?
Yeah.
But overall, I thought that was a fun game. I loved that they put almost 50 shots on goal. That's a great thing. They finally just bombarded the net with offense. That's something with a Watson coach team that I've seen. I can't even tell you how many times. Overall, I thought the effort was great, and just to come out of there with a win was huge.
I wanted to mention about the shots really quick, is that they were really good shots, a lot of them. Their goaltender was just locked in for most of the game. It wasn't like it wasn't like on Friday's game where they were just kind of throwing the puck around hoping it stuck. These shots a lot of them were really good. So it's not like I worry when a shot counts so high and they only get like 3 goals. But this one, it wasn't that. Like it definitely came down a lot of the time to the goaltender.
Who was in net that night for them?
I am so bad at saying his name. It's hold on. The Texas 100 Degrees Hockey sent me how to say his name. So it's Arno T. Fenzi. Arno T. Vency. T. Fency.
Believe
T. Fency?
Defensi?
Defensi. That's the breakdown he gave me. And he's in the post games with them. So
this is his first season with Texas. 5 wins, 3 losses, drafted 2023, 5th round from Germany. And he's put up, a 2.44 goals against this year with a .921 save percentage. So he's played very well, especially for a Texas team that's not. It took a little bit of time to figure it out. But what I want to spotlight here, though, is we gave Becker some love last week, right? Like he was getting better. We've seen the points start coming, and then he goes out and he has a huge game, 2 goals that night. Love to see it, especially from the kid. Like we don't want people to kind of skip over him of like, who's the next prospect coming in? Because he is a prospect of ours. He is somebody that could, make some waves here for us, depending on his path. And then the other one is Wallander. Right? Like just out of nowhere. I've never seen this kid fight or have an aggressive like tone in his body. Like I've never seen him like really play physical. He's really well known for his skating, and that was wild to me. So I wish I was there at postgame to ask about it of like, hey, what was like the energy? What was said to him? Like, did anybody give him pointers afterwards? He held his own pretty well, I thought, throughout the fight. Just kind of wanted to get the boys' thoughts on the fight from him. But it seemed like it was a close game though. If you look at just the score of 3-2, a lot of shots, you're like, oh, maybe the goalie just stood on his head or these were bad shots. But Elaine, you're saying that these were all good quality shots coming from great areas. Just goalie stood on his head. It was pretty good.
Austin Watson scored his with AHL goal, and he didn't realize it was his 100th. When Brandon asked him, he was like, what?
Brandon had to come with receipts this time. He was not going to get stumped by Austin Watson again. So we moved to Friday. Going into this game, Texas was, I believe they were 7 for 8, 7 losses in the last 8 road games. Coming in against, playing again, Grand Rapids, same team, a little bit of a different game though. I listened to the broadcast from Texas. I always listen to the opponents because I always like to know what they are thinking and what their thoughts are on Grand Rapids when they come in. And the other teams always do a good job of interviewing the coaches too. So I just want to kind of get their intel. But Toby Peterson, he says, you got to respect them. They're playing good hockey. You can't fear them. We had a little bit of fear on Wednesday, but we got better as the game went on. They worked on the power play on the day off. They didn't have a power play chance on Wednesday, but they did get a chance on Friday. Now, the good thing with Grand Rapids is they haven't lost a game when scoring first. So their big thing coming into this game was trying to score a goal. Texas was just trying to take the air out of the arena early. And at first they did. They had a goal. And then it got waved off for goaltender interference. I can't remember who was it McKenzie had scored the first one that got waved off? But they come back. And Hughes scores goal with 1:23 seconds left in the second period. I thought it was garbage. It looks like goaltender interference to me. Guys lay in the crease, stopping Postava from getting across the crease to make the save. And then Cross Hanas scores the second goal of the game with 23 seconds left. Not sure how this goal got past Postava. It just kind of trickled in. What do you guys think changed from Wednesday to Friday between the two games? Elaine, we'll start with you.
I have no clue. It was a different looking team. It could have been the roster. It could have been having two new guys in instead. I mean, yeah, Danielson played the other night, but now you have two. The lineup was 11-7. I mean, I don't know. It just wasn't the team that we're used to seeing. It looked very disjointed. Now, Michael Postava did look, I think, for the most part, looked really good. He did make some incredible saves. So, there's that. I just think that at the end of the day, Texas was just the better team, leaps and bounds. Sometimes a team is hot and they're also going to get the bounces on top of it. Typically, when the Griffins don't play well, they have all the luck in the world. They have all the luck in the world too, but they didn't have the luck at all. So I'm not quite sure what the difference was, to be honest. It was just, I don't know what led to the difference, I guess is what I'm saying. Now, I will say at first, I too thought that goal should have been goaltender interference. The first goal that got counted, but Coach Watson explained that it was the correct choice, the correct call, because one of our guys was actually on top of someone who was on top of Postava. So in that case, it's not going to be goaltender interference. So when I went back and kind of watched it again, you can't really see it from the angles, from the replays and stuff. But if you kind of slow it down, you can kind of see where someone was kind of on top of someone else. So yeah, it wasn't good. It was probably one of the worst games that the Griffins had ever played this season, and even last season. Even compared to last season too. It just wasn't a good game at all.
It's crazy. When I rewatched this, like I knew what the score was going into it, which I kind of liked, right? When I have to rewatch the games, because it's like I can tell, I can look for more opportunities of like, when does the game change, right? When does the momentum swing? I know when the goals are scored, so like where is it going to happen? And being able to listen from the coaches' interviews from the other teams, I love doing that as well. With this game, like watching this, that first period, Texas closed out Grand Rapids very fast. Like there was multiple defenders on the puck at every time, and they were not giving Grand Rapids very much space at all on to be able to make a pass, to be able to get anything going. But in that first period, we had our best opportunities, I thought, in the entire game. Is that first period, we had Chalmers had a chance. We had Becker had a chance. Wachowski had a chance. Leonard had a chance. Like we just could not finish at any point in this game, obviously, because we didn't score a goal. But it just seemed like Poirier was just standing on his head. And I thought Posty did a great job in this game too. Like he made big saves. There was one I remember that he just kind of launched out of the crease for a diving catch. Maybe that puck was going a little wide, but still made the catch. Looked great from my angle. And you had said a stat about Texas after this game, Elaine.
Yeah. So I went back and I was like, when was the last time that the Griffins were shut out? Well, apparently the last time the Griffins were shut out was on April 29th, 2025 in the playoffs by Texas 4-0. And then I was like, what about regular season? Fun fact, it was March 26, 2025, 4-0 to Texas. I guess when Texas wants to beat the Griffins, they make sure it's a shutout.
Do you know who the goalie was in both those games?
I actually don't. I didn't look. Did you look?
I did, but I have a feeling I know it's Remy Poirier. That would be my guess, both on all three of those. So this guy's been good. He's been solid.
He has been good, but even if even if he wasn't in that, I still think that the Griffins might have been shut out. I mean, they didn't have any like amazing shot. Maybe there was like one, maybe one. They just didn't look good. There was a lot of missed passes, a lot of like, takeaways that had happened against them. They were turning over the puck. Like it just was different. It wasn't a team that we're used to seeing. It looked kind of like pre Dan Watson team. Let's just put it that way.
It's weird. Waddy has. I wish we had the stats for this, but it feels like Waddy, when he goes 11-7, he does very well. And I see the roster go out for this night of 11-7. I thought it was 11-6 at first. I was just like, are we seriously playing shorthanded again? With the Dries call up, maybe somebody got hurt, and then we have too many veterans. I'm like, there's no way. So it seems like now we've got 2 losses in regulation. No, we have 2 losses in regulation, but 2 of our losses, like we were shorthanded one game, we go to not crazy, but we go to a different lineup. In this game, we do have a lot of moving pieces with Dries going out, Shai not in this game, right? And then you also have Nate Danielson coming back. You've got Shai Bouya being activated for the first time. It was a lot of moving pieces, a lot of moving parts that, didn't have that chemistry that they had before. So I definitely could see that point that you had made there, Elaine, of just they were kind of disjointed, right? They weren't the team that they had previously.
Yeah, I think this team too is really good 5-on-5. I mean, they're a good 5-on-5
They
team.
have to be. They have to be because their power play is not working at the moment. Which kind of leads me into the next point. So Brandon had me look this up for the last 15 games. That was on Wednesday. So I've added the next 2 games as well. They are 4 power play goals and 34 chances. They are not 2 for 75, Elaine, like you thought, like Cleveland is. I know you're used to covering bad power play teams, but we're not that bad
Cleveland
yet.
had a good power play before Mark Letestu left.
This is something that I brought up before Christmas. We were talking about doing a Christmas episode, or we were doing what we want for Christmas for the Griffins. And one thing that I told the guys off air is that I wanted a better power play, and everybody laughed at me. They said, we're still, what was it, Travis? What were we at that point? 5th in the league?
You're top 10.
Top 10. But I'm like, but recently we have not been good, and it continues to rear its ugly head. Do you think it's just something that there's so much tape out on it now that teams are being able to figure out how to defend it and how to stop it? Or what do you think the issue that we've had so far with the power play?
I think it's cold. They go through streaks, man. I know you guys are upset, right? But here's the thing. Looking at it right now, they're still 11th in the league. Like the sky is not falling. Like, yeah, they're in a brutal stretch. And Nick's going to freak out because he freaks out about this kind of stuff all the time. He's good at it.
I'm good at projecting. I'm good at seeing the trends. I'm good at projecting. And when I hit the panic button last year, you guys both told me, don't worry. And then what happened? The wheels continue to fall off. So we've not seen a great power play before. That it wasn't great. It wasn't going. It wasn't working. And then it starts off hot this year. And I'm like, is this sustainable? Is this going to continue to stay on the path? And we've seen a huge drop off now. So I'm putting out the warning bell. I'm not going to hit the panic button, but I'm going to ring the little warning bell. Like, what's going on with this power play? We got to get something figured out.
I want to point one thing out here. Like, as far as like super high end elite power plays go, there's really only like 7 in the entire league. And that's at 22%. Like the Griffins are at 20.2 right now. Nobody's even at 30, which is next level elite. So like there's a lot of there is what? Let's see. From 13th to 32nd are all sub 20%. So as a whole, like there's only a handful of teams that are really good on the power play.
And Milwaukee's one of them. They're the top, 29.8. They just finally came under 30. So this is, a little bit newer.
You're still top 10 though. Like I don't.
We could bank all the power play goals we had in the beginning of the season, but the recent is where I'm concerned. 2 for 34. Would you say that's good?
Well, it's 4 for 34, right?
Or 4 for 34? Yeah.
So here's my thing is in the beginning when you had brought this up to me before Christmas is the power play was still looking with my eyes, looking good. They just weren't converting, right? Now it's not looking great and they're not converting. But I did notice that they're adding different things to the power play. Like it's looking a little different. It's not the same plays that they were running in the beginning. They've added more. So that's also going to create kind of it's not going to be easy right off the bat. So the things that they did at the beginning of the season, they still excel at those. When they have been putting those back in, I mean, they haven't been converting as much because I think, like you said, the other teams have probably seen it and they see that and they go, okay, this is where I go. The other thing to think about too is I don't think that they're losing. I don't think they're losing games because of the power play. Like if they start losing games because they're not scoring on the power play, then that becomes an issue as well. I think they're okay. They worked a lot on the power play at practice on Sunday. So, and you could see there was still some people who weren't getting certain things that Steph was kind of trying to spell out, but that's obviously going to happen. Not everyone's going to be excelling at it, but I'm not 100% concerned. I don't think that it is a Steph Julian problem. Last year, I thought it was a Steph problem. I don't think it is this year. I think it's just something's not clicking on some of the newer stuff.
You want to know the real concerning stat with the power play? This is a cause for concern, in my opinion.
It's what I have up here too. Go ahead.
0.6% at home.
Yes.
They are brutal at home. That's a problem. Now, what offsets it is when they're on the road, they're fifth in the league at 26.8% on the road. So like if you can get that home into the mid-teens, like their power play is going to just skyrocket.
Maybe that's why I've noticed it more is because we've played more games at home lately.
Yeah, and I don't know if it could be as simple as they're trying to be too cute at home to where on the road it's like you're not trying to impress your fans. That's something that, you know, when in Toledo, they used to be like one pass too many, trying to make the perfect play at home in front of their home crowd. It felt like to where you get on the road, it's like simplify. Yeah, I mean, if they can figure out something at home, I think they'll be in really good shape, but it's just their splits are very, very weird when you look at it that way. Normally you think it'd be the other way around.
Well,
yeah, that is odd.
I made a joke to Brandon and I made the joke to Bob Kaiser too. Nick was there that I felt like they do play different when it's like when there's a lot of fans in there, almost like they're playing so well when no one was giving them this attention at the beginning of the season. Now everyone's talking about them and all these people are showing up to the games. And that's when you start seeing all these breakdowns. I know that's probably not it, but I'm like, man, that correlation is very interesting to me.
Yeah, there was a big crowd Friday. I think they said it was over 8,000. So people are coming out, which is good. The stat that I wanted Travis, you didn't hit my stat, so I want to share it. The Griffins are third last in creating power play opportunities. And so it is something that Texas had said in their post or pregame is that you have to create your power play opportunities. They did on Wednesday. Now I look at this and Grand Rapids is the third least that are getting power play opportunities. The top team is Iowa with 140. And we're at 99. Texas is at 98. Colorado's at 97. So not only are we the least penalized team, but we're also getting the least amount of opportunities on that power play. So maybe that will also factor in. If you're always on the power play, you're getting those reps, you're getting that opportunity, you're getting that muscle memory, right? If you're not, it's going to struggle a little bit more too.
At least they're scoring at 5-on-5. Because I feel like 5-on-5's carrying this team right now. So,
and the penalty kill. The penalty kill is doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they're not scoring at a pace like Toledo is.
Right.
I mean, like, they're getting the goals 5-on-5, which you play more of the game. You play 95% of the game at 5-on-5 most nights. So it's like, or 90%, like you're seldomly playing on a power play for 18 minutes a night, right? So like, that's the more important thing is that they're scoring at 5-on-5. Now, if they can figure out a way to find a goal or two more a week on the power play, then you're living really good.
Where's Iowa at? Oh, sorry. Where's Iowa at? Since you brought that set up, now I'm curious where Iowa's at on the power play.
Overall, they're 20.
Sometimes you get power play opportunities and you don't do anything with them.
Whopping 16.2%. Like, I'm telling you guys, like, you look at this, there's only 11 teams in the entire league over 20%. So, like, that's power play, like, execution as a whole isn't great. Like, you only have 11 teams over 20%. Like, you think about that. It's a lot of mediocrity when it comes to power play conversion rate.
I mean, this team is literally leading the stats in almost every category, so we've got to find something to talk about, right?
It's seemingly always the power play.
And this is the trend, right? They're 4 for 34 in their last, so something to just keep in mind. Bookmark it. I'm going to clip it for later. So in like a month, if it hasn't changed, I'm going to come back to it and be like, told you guys.
Well, when they're still top 10 in the league, or 12.
I don't think they'll be top 20 if they're continuing at this pace. I just don't think that's going to be possible. I want to kind of keep this short. You guys want to talk volley, or do you want to talk Cross Hanas?
I think we should talk about Cross myself.
We'll move on to Cross Hanas. So Cross Hanas makes his first return back to Grand Rapids, back to the Van Andel, scores 2 goals this weekend, 1 assist. This season, 26 games played, he's got 6 goals, 10 assists, 16 points. He's a neutral, a 0 plus minus. Last year with Grand Rapids, he had 58 games played, 9 goals, 8 assists, 17 points with a -2. So definitely looking to outpace his totals that he had with Grand Rapids. I know Brandon was able to get an interview with him post-game on Wednesday. So check it out if you haven't already. The first thing, I watched it. I know Brandon was looking forward to talking with Cross, and kind of surprised, kind of not, that he was able to get the opportunity. Griffin's PR is great at being able to get us the former players when they do play on the other teams. So shout out to them. But I noticed Cross, the first thing I noticed was his big smile. He just seemed so happy. One, either to be talking to Brandon again, or because of the games that just happened, and putting up some points in this game. Former Griffin, though, scores in both, becoming a Griffin killer. What do you guys, what were your thoughts on Cross's game this weekend?
I didn't want to step into that interview because you guys have already had so much interaction with him, and I knew how highly he holds you guys. And so I don't know, sometimes it's more special when people have that chance for a one-on-one, and it brings a different level to the interview. Like me being there, it would have messed it up. It wouldn't have been as great. In my opinion, it wouldn't have been. And he was so, like, Brandon went to go give him a handshake and he pulled him into a hug. And like Cross was so happy to just be back seeing people he knew, because the way he was after the interview too with Bob Kaiser and his wife, like he was so excited to see them. He was like, oh, it's the Kaiser family, like so excited. He was like that with even just people that work for the Griffins, for the team and for the staff in the building. And so he was just so hyped to be back. Like, it's not home, but like this was kind of his home for a little bit. And I love seeing stuff like that. So I didn't talk to him interview wise. Like that wasn't for me. That wasn't for me. That was for you guys, because, sometimes as a writer or content creator, you have to be able to step back and say, I'm not going to provide, I'm not going to be able to add to this. And it's going to be so much better to have you guys do it.
Yeah, we've had him on the show. He does follow us still. He's still listening. He told us that he's been keeping an eye on us. So we appreciate that, Cross. That's where our Texas listener is coming from, I guess. But he sounded happy. He sounded, he was stoked to be back in his hometown. He doesn't live far from the team. I think he said 23 minutes or 23 miles, something like that. But it seems like he's having a good time this season. Like he's happy. He's producing. He's putting up the points that we all thought he could. Staying healthy, which has been the biggest thing for him, right? When he was here at Grand Rapids, just try to stay healthy. Travis, any thoughts on Cross?
Super happy for him to produce, right? Get 2 goals and an assist in your return to where you spent a few years, right? And I mean, like, look, it just shows like a fresh start going to a familiar place where he grew up what that can do for somebody. He's been having a great year so far. He's 1 point off of his career highs for the American League with the Griffins. He's going to shatter his career year, like his previous career highs. He's on pace to like damn near put up 40 points. So you love that for the person, love that for the player, right? He gets a new opportunity and he gets to go home and play in front of his family and friends, right? Like there's nothing better than that. So cool to see him back. It's just so funny to me that he tore apart the Griffins, because I'm telling you guys, as long as I've been a fan of Toledo, whenever somebody that played here comes back here, they just absolutely haunt us. Like, so it was no surprise that Cross had a great weekend. Or a great week up there.
Do you think it's somebody that we should have re-signed? Somebody that Detroit missed out on based off his points that he's putting up this year?
I think so. I think he needed that change. He needed that scenery there. It wasn't working here. I mean, he had the injury too, and that didn't help. And like Travis said, sometimes being at home, playing at home just kind of reinvigorates you. And I mean, even his skill level looks even better with the way his stick movements are even better. His skating looked phenomenal. I am so impressed with how he's playing this season. I'm not 100% sure they would have gotten all of that from him this, this year if he played for Grand Rapids, and maybe also not getting resigned would have been like as a motivator on top of it. So I think this is a good place for him.
I think you're onto something there, Elaine, because he started with the Stars with a PTO, and he was on that PTO for a long time until they finally signed a contract with him. So he signed with Texas right now. Happy for him. He does look better. I just wish he didn't look so damn good against us. Like I wish, the point, he just continued to put points up against us, and it's not something that, you happy for the player, but you don't want to see it against us. Hopefully he could, save those for some other teams in the Central Division to take away some points from. And I have a feeling we probably will see him in the playoffs at some point based off the tear that Texas has been on. I'll go through the standings real quick. So we'll start with the Central Division. We are leading the Central, 60 points. Chicago Wolves right behind us with 40. Manitoba Moose with 37. Texas Stars, 34th. They are holding down that last and final playoff spot. Milwaukee with 33. Rockford with 30. Iowa with 24. The streak so far, Texas at 7-3 in their last 10. Grand Rapids 8-1-1 in their past 10. Nobody else is really impressive in the Central Division from that standpoint. Pacific Division, Colorado Eagles, they have 47 points. Ontario 46. At the bottom, you've got Abbotsford Canucks still with 28 points. They are down by 9 points if my math is good. From the Roadrunners. The North Division, we'll go there. We got 45 points for Laval, Syracuse with 41, Toronto with 41 as well, with Rochester in that fourth spot with 40. Utica Comets, 26 points, bottom of the division. Atlantic, so this one's been really tight the last few games, a few weeks. Providence with 51 points, Wilkes-Barre 49, Lehigh Valley 42. At the bottom, you've got Hartford and Bridgeport with 31, Hartford with 29. Our updated schedule for this week, you've got Tuesday at Milwaukee, so it'll be away. Neither of us will be there at that game, I don't think. Elaine, you're not traveling?
No, I have a day job.
But Friday, we are at home versus Rockford. I believe, yes, I will be there at that game. So I'll be covering that game if Brandon is still sick. And then Saturday is the Winged Wheel podcast night. We play Milwaukee, should be a good one. I am looking forward to seeing everybody there. I know, Travis, if you're a Patreon, you've heard it. But pre-recording is, Travis, you're going to try to make a trip up?
Maybe. We'll see. I'm playing it day by day, but I would like to try to.
A lot of traveling this week for you, buddy. Detroit and then Grand Rapids. Maybe I'll bring you your Christmas present here on Saturday instead of tomorrow.
Yeah, let's not do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because you guys have to both come down for yours, because I have a fun idea for yours.
What did you get them?
Yeah, tell us.
I didn't get them anything.
What did you make them?
It's a surprise.
It's a surprise. No 3 stars of the week. If you're still listening to this and our crazy rambling, post your 3 stars of the week. Let us know who you thought. Please don't put Cross Hanas in that 3rd star or any of the stars for this week.
Sorry.
Appreciate you, Cross, but let's stick with Griffins this week. Close it out. Sponsors, even if the point streak ends, the parlay never sleeps. DraftKings, make sure you use code THPN, everything hockey. Use code WEST, get a discount on some hoodies over there. We want to thank the Hockey Network for the support as well. Patreon, big shout out to you, everybody that has been subscribing over there, and all our other socials. If you haven't followed us over there, Instagram, we just hit 1,000. That was a big goal for us. YouTube, keep subscribing over there if you haven't already. It really helps us out. It's free, as Zach from Hockeytown Rundown would say. It is free to subscribe over there. There's no monthly subscription, but it does help us. If you haven't followed us on Twitter, we're at Hockeytown W Pod. Where else are we, Trav? Facebook?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Bluesky, if you're into Bluesky. we're there as well. To our Patreon listeners, you can find us over at patreon.com, HockeytownWPod, I think, or something like that. We'll have the link in the bio. Michael Asante, Derek Sleezer, Alan and Lori Fausch. I think that's Travis's parents. Griffin, not from GR. Elaine, our guest today. John in Florida, Tyler Ingalls, Darren Swartz, Peter Grell, Joe Schroeder, Bryson DeChambeau is elite, and Zach. He took out the hook'em horns. No fun plays this week on his title or name to point at Brandon. So I love that. You guys got any final thoughts? We're at 1 hour and 31 right now. Brandon, I hope you feel better if you're listening to this. I'm going to need you Saturday. Huge thanks to Elaine. Plug yourself one more time. Where can everybody find you? What are you working on? What are you doing? How long have you been doing this? Why do you do this?
I do it because I love it. I've been doing this for 10 years. Oh my gosh. Been covering this league for 10 years, a whole decade. You can find me on YouTube as well for Grace by Rain. I drop a podcast usually every Monday. I kind of took some time off for the holiday about the beauty of the Grand Rapids Griffins, where I talk about one or two things that I find beautiful that the Griffins did or said or I experienced through the Griffins through the week before. I also write about the team at gracebyrain.com. You can find me on socials at Twitter and TikTok at I'm a Rain Dancer, Instagram, Grace by Rain. And then there's a Facebook page. It's like Elaine Shircliff Writer. Go find me. If you think I'm just going to talk about hockey, I'm really sorry. I talk about everything. I'm very well-rounded. So yes, that's where you can find me.
We'll make sure we tag you on the posts so that way you could easily find Elaine as well. We're all about growth and growing others as well. So give our friend here a follow as well. And that's it for us tonight. Go Griffins. Go Walleye. Love you. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Hockeytown West podcast. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at HockeytownWPod and your hosts, Nick at GR Hockey Guy, Brandon at Brandon GR Hockey, and Travis at Trav in T-Town.